86 years like these three guys we're about to introduce you to. There was nothing close to that. Nobody's ever had anything like that in any baseball city in America. What we had in 2004. It's impossible to believe it was that far back because it feels like yesterday. And I know it does for these three great players. Two are in the Hall of Fame. One belongs in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. He should be there too. And they have some incredible memories to share with you and with all of us. I'll never forget that feeling of, going to my own dad's grave after the Sox won it for the first time in 86 years. And he was a lifelong Red Sox fan. I used to hear him swear at the TV, all of those years, like, oh, they're gonna blow it again. September, they're gonna blow it again. But he passed away without ever getting a chance to see the Sox win the whole thing. And I visited his grave right after the Sox won in '04. And I did the same thing that so many of you guys did. I put a Sox cap on his grave, and I told him all about how they did it. And you all did it too. So I want to bring these guys out one at a time, and we're going to have some Q&A as well, so you can get involved and think about some questions that maybe have never been asked of these guys and about this particular incredible team that did what it did and will be in our hearts and in our souls for the rest of time. So without further ado, I'd like to bring out a gentleman that I consider the best major league catcher I ever saw, the captain of the Boston Red Sox in every way possible, the classiest, most prepared, most professional receiver that I've ever seen in all of my years watching Major League Baseball. He was the rock in the clubhouse, on the field. Just ask A-Rod about that, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Varitek. It's a good-looking highlight.
Fine words.
Should be in Cooperstown. I think he will be one day. Yep. I don't know what hasn't been said when you reference the word clutch about David Ortiz. In the history of sports, there will be a Mount Rushmore of the best players in the biggest moments. And Big Papi's face is going to be up there. The ability in that moment, when it requires not just getting on base, not just moving a guy over, but to win the game, to hit the ball out of the ballpark, against the Yankees in extra innings, to get the biggest hits night after night in the history of the organization. I was lucky to be at the microphone in 2013 when Big Papi hit a grand slam against the Detroit Tigers in Game 2 of the ALCS. And like you, I lost my mind. I just Pedro Martinez made a start, whether it be at Fenway Park or on the road. It wasn't just a start. It was an event. It was headline worthy every time he took to the mound because you knew when it was Pedro, something incredible could happen. Be it in an all-star game or a World Series game or a night in June against the Yankees when first place was on the line. That's the man you wanted on the hill. An incredible, incredible talent, but wasn't it amazing to be in Fenway on those nights with the Dominican flags waving everywhere and music pumping? You just knew you were going to see something you hadn't seen before. There are few players in sports who have the ability to deliver that every single time they take to the court or to the field or to the pitcher's mound. Pedro Martinez is one of the all-time greats. Any list of who are the best pitchers in baseball has Pedro Martinez at the very top of that list. So I just want to tell you that watching him over the years, every time he took the mound, and you all share this, was an absolute pleasure, but it was a great thrill too. It was electrifying stuff. He's in the Hall of Fame, of course. No doubt he's one of the greatest of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Martinez.
Moody.
Yeah.
So when you think about 04, this is what you think of, right? Yeah, there are a couple of other guys too. And you know, one of those a couple of them I'd like to mention right off the bat. There are many of them. First of all, the manager of the 2004 team, who's now retired, Terry Francona, Tito. And Tim Wakefield. This is a terribly emotional thing to talk about for all three of these guys because I'll start with you, Tech, not just a teammate, but a brother.
Absolutely. We took the stage last night, and after some fun go-rounds and then have to pay attention to montage that was beautifully put together of Tim, tells the whole story. But for me, it's 26 years of a friend, a teammate.
Yeah. Papi and Pedro, you guys have both been very eloquent as well, talking about Wake and his passing, far too young, and how hard it hit you.
No, I mean, Tim was, like Tech say, he was a family member. I remember when I first got here in '03. Now I'm a guy that I have a great opportunity thanks to this guy and following this guy. When I first got here in 2003, I was basically a young guy just coming from Minnesota. I don't have much detail about how things was going around here. But once I remember the first day I really started paying attention to the way everything was, it was the last game of the 2003 World Series after my man Tim gave up the home run, and he went back and sit in the dugout, and he was devastated. And his devastation caught my attention because he see there for a while, and I can see his face. He would just want to tear out because how much love he had for the game, how much love he had for this organization. And that was when we really began to be friends because that gave me some guidance when I first got here. And since that point and up, our relationship just went on and on and on. Matter of fact, Tim has been one of the guys who basically always support all of us at anything. He was a great community guy, as everybody know. He was a great teammate, great father, great husband. I mean, he was the full package, and this has been devastating for all of us, God having a better place, and we're always going to remember him as one of the greatest of all time at everything.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just want to say I love him. I respect him. As much as I did for Boston, it wouldn't happen without Tim. It wouldn't happen without this guy right here, without this one. So when you look back at, and we start talking about Tim, you realize, yeah, we did a lot for Boston, all three of us, and actually all three of us represent the culture that was left in Boston. I left after 04, but guess what? The culture remained, and we won in 07. After I left, still 13 was the reflection of 04 and 07. Linger all the way up with Pedroia and the rest of the guys to 18. And that's where team's presence really comes to shine. Why? Because I wasn't going to be as successful as I was. I wasn't going to have the confidence if I didn't have guys like Tim guide me. I was the lonely guy coming from Montreal, no one known, to come and embrace this fan base that had more than 150 people in front of the gate. When I came over with a little chacabana from Santo Domingo in cold weather like this, believe me, that's how much I knew what I wanted to do. And Tim was the guy that guided me, protected me, and showed me the ways around Boston. And more important than anything, he told me to embrace you, the fan base. And not only that, when I got to see what kind of husband and man he was, I couldn't help it but to take his advice and try to be better to the community, better husband, and better father than I was pictured in a picture smile. And I repeat that from yesterday because that was the kind of influence that Tim would leave in every one of us. Tim was probably more competitive than I was, and that's a lot to say. Because I had 97 most of the time, 94 to 97. I had a pretty good breaking ball and a changeup. But all Tim had was a knuckleball, a little tiny weeny breaking ball every once in a while. And yes, like that, he became closer, successful starter, champion. He did everything. He stayed out there. He'll pick up the ball regardless of the situation. So many great things that we can say. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to whip like yesterday. I just want to be happy today because when I went to bed, I realized that Tim wouldn't want me whipping here. He would want me happy and jumpy like we were the idiots. That's how he wants us to be, and in honor to him, I just want to hug these two guys here like we used to do as idiots.
Hey, one thing to mention about them, because, you know, like, whenever someone passes away, someone very close, you know, in my family, we always like to sit down as a family and remember all the good times that we, all the good memories. My mom raised me like that, you know, and one of the good memories I had about him, we were playing against, I think it was Tampa, and one of the young guys drilled me. He was throwing like 97. It wasn't on purpose, but Tim was pitching, and
yeah.
When I got back to the dugout, he's like, "Papi, I would like to have 95 right now to back you up, but I'm gonna say that for Pedro 2 days later."
We pick our slacks to each other. So
that's right.
If you hit someone when Tim was pitching, you could, for sure, if I was pitching next day, because that's the thing. He was my closer too. At one point, he was my closer. Who would know that Tim was able to close game? And then we pitched one right after the other because one was a hard thrower, very different, and the other one was just knuckleballs, 67 to 77 mile an hour fastballs. And I had to pick up the slacks, and to me, what a great honor to actually be able to drill someone on behalf of team. That was lovely.
There's only one Pedro.
When you have this monster behind the plate, it's easier to do that.
It's a lot easier.
That's not a joke with him drilling people for weight. Like, the part to add onto the story is, you know, in the twofold part of the story that we had, and this goes to the first things you were saying about Tim, was that we were playing terrible. We're in Minnesota in the old dome. We have within my first 2 years of being in the big leagues, we have a players-only meeting. They're running it and do stuff, and then all of a sudden, Pedro spoke. He was talking about competing and being in the moment and doing what you do. It's just like Wake. Wake goes out there when he has nothing. He has nothing, because he has nothing. When he doesn't have nothing, he has nothing.
You're a journalist or analyst.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. That's not. No. But so he was complimenting Tim to its highest degree, which what was accomplished. He goes, I don't have my fastball, I got my curveball, I have my changeup, and if I feel like it, I give you my cutter. He goes, Wake, you don't have nothing, you have nothing, and you still have nothing. But his compliment was, you go out there and compete. So if Tim's going to go out there and compete and have nothing, all of us should pay attention a little bit to what he has and know that we compete to make up the differences. And that was one of the funniest, most genuine, but it wasn't funny, it was serious, but most genuine moments I had as a teammate, as a young player to listen to. But it was because everybody came out with what they're supposed to is compete. And compete like he does and compete like Tim does. And the last part of the story was literally Brady Anderson leading off the game, hitting 45 homers, leans into one first pitch, knuckleball, and Pedro goes, I got you tomorrow, Wake. Don't you? And he got him.
Tomorrow.
And he got him. Whoom! Brady's like, I understand.
I know.
I go.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to lean into 77, you might as well lean in for 97, right?
That's right.
So many great moments, so many great memories, huh?
Well, you know what comes out too is just how, and we all knew this, but how uber competitive, like all three of you guys, and everybody on that, like the Bill Millers and guys like, I mean, it's incredible how, like Michael Jordan kind of competitiveness that drove you guys. But when you all get together in spring training tech in 04, are you looking around the room and going, yep, I can see that oozing through? Obviously, 03 was a tremendous disappointment, but that was a great baseball team. And you knew you had a great baseball team. But was there something special in spring training that said, yep, this is a different year?
Each one of us is going to say a word.
Yeah.
Go for it, Pete.
I would say that 03 team that lost in Yankee Stadium, famous Boone homer, I think instead of making us kind of go down, unified us. And I'm going to say my word would be unity. That's what we had, unity as a team. All three of us can describe whatever they want to describe, but I think that loss there, the most painful game I've ever played in my life, not even as a kid, when you used to cry over giving it up to your older brother. No, that was the game. And unity, to me, was the main word. Unity. We stuck together more and more after that game. You say your word.
You pretty much say it all. I mean, after the 2003 last game that we lost, we became to be baseball gangsters. You know, I mean, it was, you walk into the clubhouse and the feedback that you got from your own teammate, it was incredible. Like, I had a guy like Pedro telling me what to look for when I was going to the plate, and then I have a guy like this one that I always mention because this guy, believe it or not, he came to me one day and he told me, hey, why don't you use bigger bat? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, I think you need a bigger bat because the bat that you use look like a toothpick on your hand. and if you manage yourself better and you try to use your hands more than your body, I think you're gonna have better result. And I was like,
54 homers later?
no, and I'm serious. Remember that conversation, right? So I don't even know how to manage bigger bat, but I realized, because I was working also with Manny in the batting cages, and Manny was trying to get me to slow down my body and use my hands more. So everything just clicked because at one point, I slowed down my body a lot, and then I was just letting my hands use the whole work, you know? And it was the perfect combination. Manny slowing down my body, this guy give me the recommendation of using bigger bat. So when I used to go to batting practice, first of all, I went to his bat. He gave me a couple of his bat. I thought they were humongous. And then I started practicing how to use my hands more than my body. Because with bigger bat, if you use your body a lot, and then you're gonna be slow through the strike zone. So everything just clicked, you know, like wow. At some point, I was just hitting ball out of the stadium without even moving my body as much. And I got that from this gentleman. So what I'm trying to tell you, we work as a team. Everything was like everybody watching the next one just to see what I can help you with and what you can help me with. That's that's what changed everything around here. It was a game, you against all of us. We're gonna find a way to hurt you. That was the mission, you know? And the only way you can figure that out was everybody pulling in the same direction, you know? And I learned that once I got here. Because the team that it was in a small market team, but everybody was pretty much all over the place. And I was just a young blood trying to figure things out. But these guys, every time I talk about my career, I have something to say about them because they feed me with that information. They were pulling for me. They want me to do well. And that is contagious.
Think of the players, think of Manny, you think of, you know, the year Curt Schilling had. You think of Johnny Damon, you think of Millar, and as Pedro has said a couple of times, the idiots. But when did that whole personality define the Red Sox? It was at what point during that season did you look around and go, we're just a bunch of idiots, we got nothing to lose, tremendous talent in the room, the heck with what anybody else says?
I think it's the previous question. It started in '03, like really. You know, our acquisitions. You know, we've got Millar, David, Giambi,
Bill Mueller.
but you guys fighting
That's
over
right.
over different times. Finally, David gets the opportunity, hits the Oppo homer in Anaheim, and then David's never stopped playing since. You know,
Millar.
solidified Millar with not just personality. Millar's a really good player.
Yeah.
Solidified pitching. Now, 2003 put us there. We can stand toe-to-toe with New York, our division, but we were short. What was the added piece in '04? We solidified the bullpen even more with Keith, right? And then it was timing. Like, we knew we belonged. We knew where we were. Years of everybody before us that had been built to create and to be able to stand toe-to-toe in our division and at the top of our division. That's been years of building. Now we're there. Now it's opportunity and making the most of it. So the idiots part of it comes with, that's a bunch of baseball players that, a lot of personalities, you know, from Johnny to Millar to McCarthy to Doug Mirabelli to Serious Me to Mr. Clutch to the most electrifying pitcher to ever take the mound in baseball. But not dumb idiots, that's for sure. But idiots that, yeah, we don't really care what has transpired. You have to deal with us today. That's the way I look at it.
And one other thing is, we didn't care. That was the one main purpose that we had. I remember leaving spring training, and we said, you know what, guys? We came off this season. We cannot be looking at the front page of the papers, regardless of what happened. Then all of a sudden, I showed up with my afro, letting it grow, letting it grow. Johnny Damon looked like Jesus Christ with the long hair. We did so many crazy things, and just like the beard guys in 13, everybody, the big beard, and everybody would rub their beard. And I mean, it was like meant to be, but none of those teams that won championship actually paid attention to many things. And I remember someone from Fox say, well, they lead the league in hugs, handshakes, and bad hair. Manny with his big flow as well. The Greña brothers with me and Manny shaking all that long hair. Well, we didn't care what you had to say about us. But just like Ted said, we were out there to give you headaches and knuckles. I mean, knuckles, literally. Literally, you mess around with us, you were going to fight with a really intense team. And if you wanted knuckles playing baseball, well, we were ready to do that, but without really paying attention to the little details that you had against our team. And we were all about us having fun and doing what we needed to do. We have been through a lot of pain, heartbroken moments, but man, were we fun. We were fun to watch too. Dirty, scrappy team.
Yeah, you guys exuded that. The love for the game, the joy for the game.
Yeah.
And winning coming with that makes it even better. But then you're down 3 games to none to the New York Yankees in the ALCS. And here we go again. And the night when they won the 3rd game, the score was 19-8. It was like, what the? We all felt the same way. But then that march on history began. And I want to ask each of you guys, what was the single most important thing that allowed you to do that? To come from 3-0 down, which has never been done in the history of baseball, particularly against a team the caliber of the New York Yankees, and to do what you did. David with incredible hits, you guys all with great performances, and of course, Millar takes the walk, Dave Roberts steals the base, and Bill Miller drives it. Bill Miller, by the way, still doesn't get enough credit for being the great hitter he was and coming up in the clutch there. So that 04 team had a
batting champ that year, batting champ.
Batting champion,
Yeah,
and he hit it, near the bottom of the order, right? So you're like, boy, you're pretty good if that's the case. But what was it when you went back into that clubhouse, Tech, down 3-0, that allowed you guys to go, we're not dead. We're coming back and winning this thing?
No, we didn't know that.
Yeah?
To be honest, we didn't know that we were going to win, and we were tested up to the last moment, to the last walk, to the last stolen base. 2 things. The baseball part, the walk, Roberts is still second, the little hit, whatever. And Big Papi comes over in the big moments and boom, 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 boom. That we all can document. But there was a comment from 2 of the guys that the Yankees got in the trade deadline, that said, not only they look like idiots, but we're going to send them home and we're going to sweep them. And I remember coming in early to the stadium to run because we didn't know with Kurt Schilling and the bloody sock, which is another thing that really inspired everybody to go out there and do what we needed to do. Because just like we spoke about, Wakey not having nothing, and the day he feels good, he doesn't have nothing. and then, competing. Well, Kurt Schilling was one of the biggest big game pitchers that I have played with. But they said that, and I held a little meeting quickly. I wasn't really out there to show my leadership that way. I wanted to show it on the mound. But that day, I felt like we needed to talk about that. And said, not only they look like idiots, but we're going to send them home, and we're going to sweep them tonight. So I told the guys, let's see if we can find a way to just win one, just so that they don't accomplish what they wanted to do. And the rest is history. But sometimes you just don't poke a sleeping dog. And that's what they did. I think they did that, and we never gave up until the last out was made. And they really tested us because we were really close to losing it. Once again, I'm talking about baseball-wise, we were on the edge of losing it. But sometimes it's meant to be when it's meant to be. And here we are.
Based on that question, and this can be taken out as a message for all of you. In my career, I learned that my days of being a badass wasn't when I was swinging a bad hat. You know, when I was, hot on the song, or everybody was hitting at the same time, or this and that. I realized that my best was when I was hitting bottom. Because I don't know how good I was until I hit bottom. That's exactly what happened with that 2014. Sometimes we don't know the type of weapon that we are until we hit bottom. Mm-hmm. We were a good team that played good all year round, and everything was all flowers and roses, but then we hit bottom. And when you hit bottom, you have to pull your best and show to the whole world who you really are so you can come out on top. We hit bottom, and we only had one way to become to be the world champion. It was, hey, better regroup and move on, and you have all this monster on that ball club who basically all year round, they brought something to the clubhouse for us to be able to perform at the highest level. But that score that night, I guarantee you everybody went home thinking about something very special, because that was humiliated the way we lost that third game. And it's all depend where you want to take your mind to what type of level. And the next day, I remember, it was a day off the next day, right? And we were working out and this and that, and everybody was kind of quiet, of course, getting beat. But the spirit, the mentality, the wanting to do something special was still there, And we have, like I say, crazy ass Millard screaming at everybody, going crazy. And I remember when the Yankees,
let us win one.
Remember that?
Let us win one.
He walked around the whole batting practice screaming, don't let him win one. And when the Yankee was coming out, they were leaving because we basically hit batting practice right after them. But when they were on the way out of the field, Millard keep on screaming, don't let him win one. I'm like, man, can you shut up? But the body language, the personality was there, and I think, like my compadre say, when something is meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, we went far from the shallow low, right? Isn't that a song?
Can you sing a little of that? Would you mind, Peter?
We're far from the shallow low. See that?
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben. Many talents. Many talents. Personal note, I talked to Derek Jeter before Game 4. During their batting practice, he said almost the same thing that Kevin Millar said. He said, they're too good. We better not let them win tonight. So for all the stuff around it, Jeter knew that this thing was going a long way. He knew it wasn't over. And
it was just a matter of flipping the momentum to have it go our way, because everything seemed to be going their way, all the way. And after all three, I know how you guys felt because I felt it too. I felt it after 03. We were so disappointed that losing one more time would have been an empty stadium for the next 10 years. I think. I don't know how resilient you guys are, but man, if I didn't win in 04, I'll feel like a letdown. And man, we were able to win it. I still couldn't believe that Keith Falk handed that ball to Minkiewicz at that moment. It was like unreal. It was surreal to see that after 86 years, and you watch Jim Rice, you watch Ted Williams, you have Jastrzębski, you have so many great stars, Mo Vaughn, Nomar, and Nomar. And you see so many stars pass by, and nobody was able to achieve what we achieved. Capitan?
Agreed.
It's just crazy.
So let me ask you this. There's this incredible high. You beat the Yankees 4 straight, blow them out of Yankee Stadium in Game 7. And it's awfully sweet. It was really fun to walk around Manhattan the next day.
Oh, yeah.
And you couldn't hear a pin drop. It was awesome. But anyway, so you do that. You do this incredible thing. The whole world is throwing roses at your feet like, you guys are just going to walk through the World Series. But you still have to go and win those games against the National League champion, which is a damn good team. Mm-hmm. Now, you made mincemeat out of them, you could say that, but that's not a given. You still have to do that. For the rest of us, it was kind of like, what beats beating the Yankees like that? But the World Series is the World Series. So what was the mindset going into the World Series?
Well, Boston already had their World Series.
Yeah.
As soon as we kicked the Yankees' ass, we already had what we needed. But actually in the clubhouse, the mentality was, nobody can beat us anymore. No, not after that. After we went over the Yankees, we got the monkey off of our back. Now it's all about fun, and that's exactly what we did. Have fun with the other team. Not disrespecting St. Louis, no. But we had what we wanted. Now it's just a matter of going and winning 4 more games. And that's exactly what we did. Like I told you, after that famous game, the rest is history. They all remember it. Some of the young kids that never got to see us play don't probably remember. But I'm hoping that what you're watching right here, 3 different characters, 3 different cultures when it comes to baseball. When it comes to baseball, we're different. One is a pitcher, the other one has mighty slugger, and the other one the brain. So what you're seeing here is 3 different personalities, but exactly what we need now. It's exactly what we need. But if you watch closely, the respect we had for the game and the will to win, you be the judge. You be the judge. We represent exactly the culture that led us to having 4 championships in less than 20 years. So that's what you want in an organization. And that's what I'm hoping to see from now on from this organization.
Well said, well said. I think all 3 of you guys are among the very smartest players I've ever dealt with in everything that you do well. Poppy could give you a master class on hitting and commanding the strike zone. Pedro on how you manage a game on the mound. And Tech, if you only saw how Tech prepared with, just catalog of information for every single game. It's amazing how bright these guys are.
Or you.
Yeah. Hey, and talk about dealing with a different stuff, from Pedro to Wakey to Cuckoo Bird, Derek Lowe, Bronson Arroyo, Kirk Schilling. Woo, boy. I don't know how you did it, Capitan. Man, I would go cuckoo banana.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I have my days that I feel bad for you, to be honest. Especially when we travel, you carry all them suitcases with paper and all that shit, like, they're flying everywhere. And like,
We
poor
still had
guy.
fun on the plane and played cards. You can do both. I can multitask.
No, you were unbelievable. You were unbelievable.
No, it goes for me like, you know, I did want to comment on the 04 and that, and then leading into the World Series. But David and Pedro, for me, said it completely correct. It's don't let us win a game. And I do have to recognize that that's part organizational that was instilled us organizationally that, you know, even back to when we had our other manager with Jimmy Williams. We're down 2 to Cleveland. Don't let us win a game. Don't let us win one. And it becomes part of your culture, becomes part of who you are. And some of those people were and were not there, but some were. Petey was there. But it becomes part of who you are and the belief. Okay, it happened against Oakland. It happened against Anaheim. It happened before that against Cleveland. Now you're at the most dire moments, and it does. It does because we weren't only just talented. There was a relentless focus, and you could go through every position and have major contributions, first, second, short, third, behind the plate, right, left, center, DH, bench players. They're unbelievable, but it took everything. And there's a complete momentum shift that, you know, on our corner ends, on the pitching end, we were not pitching well.
No.
We weren't executing well as a group, and we were losing. That got better. Big hit gives us one chance. Bill gives us one chance. You know, big hits. Now momentum shifts, and to get to the World Series, now we're pitching. Now our momentum's there. Set the stages for this man, and we can't forget about Manny with their big hits, and then, you know, Trot supposed to take 3-0 and clears the bases.
That's it.
So for me, it's complete team effort with some unbelievable individual moments.
Can we take some questions? Anybody want to step up and? Oh yeah, little guy who was not alive in '04. So.
Thanks.
Hi there. What's your name?
Cole.
Hi, Cole.
So, you know, I was here last year, so, yeah.
You were here last year?
Yeah,
And how old were you then?
6.5.
So you're 7.5 now.
Yeah.
Outstanding. You got a question?
Sure. I mean, I'm just gonna think for a sec, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Take your time.
Questions for Big Papi. So, how did it feel when you got that grand slam against the Tigers?
Oh, good question, buddy. Round of applause for my man. Came out with a good question.
Oh,
My man Cole. It feels great, man. I mean, we remember during that series, we were battling against the Tiger, who have an incredible team. And I don't know if you, what year was that, 13?
13.
How old are you now?
What?
7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
Well, I guess your mom and your dad were discussing, found a way to bring you into this world right here. But reality is that we have a real incredible battle against the Tigers. That day we faced an incredible pitcher like Max Scherzer, and he went all in into like the 8th inning. He was nasty that night. And then they ended up bringing the bullpen in, and we finally got to score with a grand slam and change the whole situation. But as I was running the bases, man, just looking at the crowd, just looking at you guys going wild, you guys have sometimes no idea how powerful that is for us as a player. I mean, that shaked the whole building. and our mojo just went to a whole different level. And, sometimes things are meant to be. That happened, and the rest is history. We got a guy in the bullpen with his arm going crazy like this, and we ended up winning the World Series that year.
It almost killed Torrey Hunter, one
Remember
of your
that?
great friends, yeah. This young man over here, we only have time for a couple because these guys are running to their next thing, but go ahead, young man.
I'm Brendan, I'm 9 years old, and my question's for everyone. I know David Ortiz. I was here last year, and I asked him this question, and he said the Dodgers. So you can't choose the Twins, Red Sox, or the Dodgers.
What was the question?
What was it one more time?
You can't choose the
Oh.
Twins. Red
Oh,
Sox,
okay,
in
okay.
Your answer.
Okay.
If you were to be on any team besides the ones that you already been on, what would it be?
Ooh. When you haven't, so it's hard to choose. Never looked at it that way. I did. I was a young boy. I actually was from Michigan and just outside of Detroit. So I'd have to say a Tiger.
Well, I can't say the Red Sox again. I'll probably be, because the team I love the most away from the Red Sox were the Expos. I'll have to say probably right now, I would love to be an Atlanta Brave. I would love to be an Atlanta Brave. I love the way they approach. I love the way they're handling their players. I've seen it closely. I'll probably be an Atlanta Brave if I could.
Just to give you some happiness, it would not be the Yankees. Okay?
The Dodgers, it'd be the Dodgers.
He told me not to pick the Dodgers again. You know why? I was thinking about the Braves, by the way. You know why? Because
Because
they
we were going
have-
to be teammates.
That's right. That's a good answer. Plus, they
And
have a lot of...
we're gonna get Tech in a trade.
That's
to Atlanta
right.
as well.
That's right.
Where he played
Well,
college.
he's from Georgia.
He
That's
played
another thing,
college
you know. There you go. Plus, they have a lot of young, talented players that having some veteran leadership, it'll take that team to a whole totally different level.
Okay, let's get another one over here.
Hi, I just have a story. I'll be quick. This is my son David. He was born in 2003. He was born with a heart defect, and in 2004, during your big season, we were in Boston Children's Hospital, and of course, he was only one, but everyone in the hallways, there were Red Sox balloons everywhere. It was the best atmosphere. And I just want to say thank you because you really bring a lot of joy to families in the hospital, not just that year, but every year. And he's 20 now, and he's been through 9 open heart surgeries. Wow. And we're just really grateful for you because there's a lot of long days in the hospital, a lot of long nights, and he would watch, we'd watch game shows during the day, but every night he'd watch the Red Sox, and it really helps the families get through. And I know that like when you're on the field, you see the crowd and you know what you're doing for the crowd, but there's a lot of people at home and in the hospital and places like that, and I just wanted to say thank you.
My question for both Davids, what's your favorite game from 2004?
From 2004, my favorite game was the Game 4 that we won in Yankee Stadium. Because I got a hold of the trophy and I went, yeah, 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 all over Yankee Stadium. Once we kicked the Yankees out, everything else was good.
We are in the same boat, I'm pretty sure.
Just that game. Just getting it back.
I am.
For me, you know, for like the final flip to first base,
That's right.
like exhaustion, just boom, we're done.
And that great picture.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
There
right.
it is. We finally got out Edgar.
That's right. I know.
I think Renteria was like 10 for 16.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a good one to end on right there. I want to thank you all so much for coming out today and listening to these three great players. They could go on for hours and hours. Thank you, Red Sox Nation. Appreciate it very much. God bless all of you.